Overtime basketball for both the women's and men's basketball teams. Wrestling coach Kenn Caudell joins us on the corner. That and more next on the Crusader Corner on the Belmont Abbey Sports Network. Women's basketball got a surprising test from Emmanuel. The second half went Belmont Abbey's way as Taylor Stelly scored 16 points, including a jumper, with time expiring in regulation to send the game into overtime. The Crusaders outscored Emmanuel 18-10 in the extra period to win 74-66. Belmont Abbey is now 3-1 in the league with a game to make up at hand. And on the men's basketball side, a much-hyped rematch from the NCAA tournament from this past March. It was Emmanuel that had just enough in the tank to pull out an 84-79 double overtime victory over the Abbey. Though the team had a 29-28 lead at halftime, a third double-double of the season for junior center Mario Lacey wasn't enough, but the Crusaders will get a chance at redemption coming up on this Wednesday. And when we return, we'll have wrestling coach Kenn Caudell joining us in our interview this week on the corner on the Belmont Abbey Sports Network.
They actually help with building the inner man of each student.
My coaches have been great. I've really transformed.
You get a sense of community. To be an athlete and to be involved in that has been a really fun experience.
Welcome back to the Crusader Corner on the Belmont Abbey Sports Network. Voice of the Crusaders, Jeffrey Childs, and we're joined by wrestling coach Kenn Caudell. Coach, really appreciate you coming on the corner.
Thanks for having me.
And you wrestled as a player and then now coaching. Trace the steps of your wrestling career.
After I graduated from high school, college, I went back to my high school and coached as an assistant for a year and then ended up at Duquesne University as a volunteer assistant. That led to a paid job at Mount Union College in Alliance, Ohio, and then Belmont Abbey made a decision to add wrestling, and I got the opportunity to come down here and start the program.
And that program began in 2005. I'm sure there are a lot of things people don't know, a lot of working parts to starting any program. How did that begin, and what were the steps that you took?
It was pretty exciting to come down and get an opportunity to build something from scratch. Unfortunately, I didn't know how much work was going to be involved in that. It was pretty tough. We struggled the first few years to put together a solid lineup throughout to compete dual meet wise. We were able to get a couple good athletes to qualify for nationals. We ended up with an All-American our second year, but we just struggled to really get off the ground and get kids to buy into what our vision was here at Belmont Abbey.
Well, getting kids to buy into a vision, that's the other part of the coaching profession that a lot of people don't know about. It's recruiting, getting the right athletes, not only for your program, but for the college. And the Abbey offers recruits just a little bit more academically elite in many, many departments than the wrestling side of it for you, and the spiritual component. Talking to recruits is a challenge in and of itself, but you've kind of perfected that over time, and you know the kind of athletes you want to bring here.
Yeah, and it took a lot of trial and error to figure out which athletes would be most suited for success here at Belmont Abbey, and we've kind of come up with a program philosophy called SHIELD, and it's really it's a lifestyle, and what we've done is we've taken the 10 Benedictine hallmarks and we've built kind of a lifestyle for our student athletes to live on and off the mat, and we've really done a good job promoting that lifestyle, and the guys have bought into it, and it's something we're selling to recruits now.
Kenn Caudell joining us on our interview here this week on Crusader Corner. Coach, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you.
When we come back, we'll look at the upcoming schedule for Abbey Athletics after this time out on the corner on the Belmont Abbey Sports Network.
Oh, this? I was playing catch a little too hard with the dog. He's got quite an arm. I've been through this before. It'll be better in a couple of days. Probably.
Visit one of Ortho Carolina's specialists right away by logging on to orthocarolina.com. Leave the waiting to this guy.
Come on, honey.
Ortho Carolina. You improved.
Looking ahead on the calendar for Abbey Athletics in the final week of the fall semester. 2 games for women's and men's basketball. Both teams head to King on Wednesday. Those are conference matinee games. Then on Saturday, the final home games of the semester at Wheeler as UNC Pembroke invades the Wheeler Center. Tip times for those games are 2 and 4:30. Pregame show 15 minutes prior. And if you want to take in the action in person, get your tickets now. Go to abbeyathletics.com/ticketing. All of our tickets are provided by Hometown Ticketing. For the wrestling team, Coach Kenn Caudell's team takes the long trip north for the Midwest Classic on Saturday and Sunday. Well, that's all for this week. We thank you all semester for tuning in to the Crusader Corner on the Belmont Abbey Sports Network. Merry Christmas, have a happy holidays, and as always, raise the red. Enjoy the holiday season. We'll see you in the new year on the Crusader Corner on the Belmont Abbey Sports Network.